Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
This is Her Flow from Hot 702.5 FM. Las Vegas, looking for a winner-takes-all way to burn off that extra energy? Welcome to Bouncy World, the ultimate climate-controlled indoor playground. We're stacking the deck with specials all week long. Cool off with Frosty Tuesdays featuring ice-cold treats for the kids. Then join us for free popcorn Thursdays, because nothing beats a salty snack after a giant bounce. And at Bouncy World, we believe every child deserves their moment to soar. Join us every Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. for Sensory Sundays. We dim the lights and turn off the music to create a calm, inclusive space designed specifically for our newer, diverse community. At Bouncy World, we fly high. From high-flying fun to inclusive play, we've got it all. Visit us at bouncyworldlv.com to book your party or check our open play hours. Bouncy World, jump into the fun today.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Hey, this is Her Flow from Hot 702.5 FM, where we bring you the best in hip-hop, R&B, pop, and talk. Tune in. Hey, thank you for tuning in. You have tuned into The Flow with Her Flow right here at Hot 702.5 FM. Risky Radio, you guys. It is Thursday again, and you have tuned in with me. Yeah. The Flow, you know who I am. So listen, you guys, every week I have a special guest, and this is like no other. We do have somebody who is in the music industry today, and she is doing big things, and we're just going to bring her on because, y'all, we can't wait. We don't have to wait, okay? She is here. Let's see. Where you at? Let's bring her on.
Hi.
Are you here? Hi. I'm listening to the Great V White from, oh, there you go. I'm listening to the Great V White from, listen, across the board, behind the board, in front of the board. You are everywhere. You are everywhere. It's so good to have you. Thank you for showing up.
Yes, of course. Thanks for.
I definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, it's been hard getting you on. I don't know what happened, but I thought I was going to have to go do some searching for you. Thought somebody had, I was like, where is she at? I know we had some issues, but you're here. So we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. Okay, we're going to talk about the good things, right? Okay, first of all, I just want to let you know your energy is great. You are beautiful, V.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Yes. I had to put on my glasses so I could see you, though.
It's been a crazy day today.
I know.
Really hot in New York today, so.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm in Vegas. Most of the time it's hot, but today we got kind of a breeze and my allergies are like kicking my butt right now. So I'm just like dealing with that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm going to make it through. Yes, it's crazy, but we going to make it through it, right? Positive
Yes.
vibes? Yeah, we're
Yes.
going to make it through. So let's get to it. So first of all, I'm going to let you, I introduced you, right? But I also want you to introduce yourself because I think I did a good job, but I think you could even do a better job than I did. So let's go.
Okay, well, I'm V. White. I am from Harlem, New York. Right now, I'm hosting a podcast called Behind the Boards, which originally kind of started as a platform for young people who were looking to break into the industry, that wanted to get more information on how to get started or just equipment and products and things that they should be using. But then it kind of changed as we started to get more and more guests. The platform kind of changed to focusing on licensing deals, also like ways to build your relationships and rapport with people in the industry so that you can continue getting placements in the industry and on albums or on singles or on projects, just the soundtracks, things like that. As opposed to just staying underground. If you're a new artist, you want to continue to elevate your career. So it became a place where people can learn more things, but from a firsthand perspective.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. I don't want to interrupt you, but let me ask you this. So let's start with V. White. So first of all, you graduated from St. John's University. Is that where you graduate from?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you were an English major, correct?
I was. I originally started as a communications major. And
okay.
I met my co-producer.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got to talking from there and starting actual podcast. But yes, English. I love read. That's my thing. I'm all about writing, linguistics, all that.
Yeah. And I heard you were a little bit nervous about starting the podcast at first when Lou came to you, because Lou is your co-producer, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And Lou has had some experience with some of the artists. Matter of fact, you went to school with J. Cole.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, Lou was actually at the time. So a lot of people on campus were working. We were all starting in different areas.
Okay.
So you had a lot of people that are now all of them are like doctors, lawyers, whatever. But at the time, we didn't know what we wanted to do. You know what I mean? We were kind of just
right.
People at our school, the number one major was sports management, to be honest with you. And I was like, why does everybody keep choosing this? All the boys were choosing this as a major, but it was just like a thing because nobody knew what they wanted to do. So originally when I started, it was like liberal arts, then it became communications. Then I was like, no, I love to write. I want to do English. I was really seeing myself as a writer, as a contributing writer for magazines and publications.
Okay.
So basically everybody from our class has gone on to become very successful in their industries or started companies or practices, all that kind of things, all those kind of things. So everything kind of went how it was supposed to go. It's just we didn't realize how beneficial our network was at the time. As time went on and we got older, we realized like, wow, we really had a good starting point because the connections that we have, the engagement that we have, 6 degrees of separation it's literally 1 degree of separation just from being on campus, because everybody's from a different state, everybody's, in something, they're into something. And I think a lot of those people who were transplants that came up here, they were seeing how fast New York moves and it lit a fire in them. You know what I mean? To kind of get going. And that's how, and we still maintain relationships to this day. So
yeah. Because I'm going to go back to that too, because it was a question I wanted to ask you with about J. Cole too, but we'll come back to that. So I kind of want to know, so you are you're from Brooklyn or you're from
Harlem? From
Harlem, right? But you ended up working for a company that was in Brooklyn first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not, I don't know. I mean, if you've ever been to New York, but it's boroughs. It's really not that far of a distance.
Okay.
They're pretty much close by. If you know the system, the train system out here, it's not that far.
Yeah. And one thing about it is because I've always been I'm into music myself. I'm a singer. And so I've always been all my whole life, girl, my whole life. I performed on the strip here. I was in bands and in plays and all kind of stuff. So, I know the music industry, but what was so interesting to me about this interview with you is because I never knew what went on behind the scenes. And I was like, you know what? This will be an interesting video because interview because everything that goes on pretty much behind the scenes. You've been doing this for a long time now, close to 10 years right now that you've been with your Across the Board, right?
Not really.
How long have you been with them?
It started initially a while ago, but there were pauses in between this. So you have to figure in our actual lives,
Right.
I built a family outside of this, you know what I mean? And then,
Right.
Lou, he has his stuff that he does outside of this. And then COVID, so a lot of things, whereas we had a studio, a station that we went to in Dumbo, which is in Brooklyn, a part of
Brooklyn. Right. Okay.
And we would go there, and that's where our guests would come. So the same way you have a studio right there, people come in there, and you have your setup and everything, and that's what we would do. And then afterwards, you go underneath the bridge, you sit and you have drinks, you talk, you chat it up, chop it up, all that kind of stuff. But once I kind of moved on with my life, kind of, things were happening in my actual personal life. So
right. As everyone. Right.
And I wasn't in the city. I'm a city girl. So I was always not that type of city girl, but I'm a girl from the city. So I was, doing a lot of things in the city, and now I'm suburban. So I'm kind of it's pretty different now. And getting to the city, when you live in Long Island, getting to the city is kind of different, so it kind of just changed. And then when COVID came into the picture, it just was like, okay, so I have to learn. So what you're doing right now, it was new back then,
Right.
This is normal now. Everybody does this now, but at the time we were like, how is this going to work? Because we're used to having that organic blend with the guest in the studio, and vibing out with them. So it went well. It's just, we did a Zaytoven interview that was during COVID, but we were able to do it in person. But then we had a Chasing Cash interview, and I was really excited about talking to him because he had produced a lot of songs that I liked, back in the day. And then when we did have to speak to him, it had to be over the phone, and I was kind of, I was really wanting it to be in person. But it blended. It went fine. It wasn't an issue. You know what I mean? But it was just an adjusting period for us. So there were a lot of pauses during the pandemic. There were a lot of pauses. So it may seem like that was a 10-year period, but to us, it was almost like a 3-year period because of the stops and starts.
Yeah. But through that, you gained a lot of knowledge through even if it wasn't the whole 10 years, the period that you did have, you gained a lot of knowledge because, of course, I've watched some of your interviews and they were amazing. I just wanted to let you know that. And tell me, okay, if I were to describe V. White in a nutshell, tell me about you and tell me.
I saw you ask this question before. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a question that people that know me should answer. I mean, I'm just a happy person who is interested in always learning more. That could be in any capacity. And I'm just interested in enjoying life every day.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a child too.
I do.
Correct. How old is your baby?
I won't say, but I do have a child. Yes, I do.
Okay. I know sometimes people don't want to get into their personal thing, but however, a lot of times moms, we wear a lot of hats, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just want to congratulate you with the child and being able to do all that you do in the industry. Because I know sometimes it's not always easy, especially with everything that's going on right now. So I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and just making it happen.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I had a guest who I was I wasn't aware of before the interview, but after we began talking during the interview, I knew exactly who I knew her work. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And her work is phenomenal, and it's been going on for decades. And I was at the time where my child was very small, and she was also her child wasn't as small as mine, but she was also going through the same thing. She was older than me, but she was going through the same thing.
Right.
So, just to hear her, knowing how vast her workload is, and to see her kind of juggling it and telling me during the interview that it's hard. I mean, the interview is not out right now, but it will be out in the coming season. And it was just empowering to hear her say that, because the type of work she does is very fast paced. It's very like, she does wardrobe design. That's another part of the show that we'll talk about later. But we are doing an executive series.
Okay.
And that will go behind the boards of other sectors of the music industry that other listeners may be interested in hearing about. I know you probably watch other podcasts or listen to other podcasts where, well, in my perspective, I like to listen to podcasts that are just interesting. I don't really care the actual person that's speaking. If it's a topic that I'm interested in, I would like to hear the perspective of someone else. And where I thought she was going to come on and talk one way, we had a totally different conversation that kind of transformed the interview. And I really appreciated that. She's been around for a very long time, doing really great work. And some of the last wardrobe or costumes that she made were for Nipsey. And they were based on designs that Alpo, which is a famous drug dealer in Harlem,
Right. Okay.
based on designs that he wore in the 80s. And this is all, that she was taking place with her and her husband, her now husband, in her dorm room. They were putting together these designs just based off of how people in Harlem normally dress. We want to look nice. We want to look flashy. We want to look luxe,
Yeah.
That's
That's a New York thing.
It is. That's
a New York thing. And this is a thing, like I honestly, I think I went to New York one time, and that was just to get White Castle hamburgers, because I lived in New Hampshire. And
Why
at the
did you
time
do
I
that?
was expecting Child. I was with Child, and they didn't have them where I was. So I drove 6 hours to come to New York to get me a big box.
You know what? I can't even.
I'm just saying,
I
like,
can't even be mad at it, because
yeah,
it was a thing at a point.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible thing today.
It is. I will say they brought one here to Las Vegas. I was so excited because after the club you would go get your White Castle or whatever. But however, they brought one here to I was glad they brought one here to Las Vegas. I went in there and I ate one. I was so excited. I stood in the line when they first got here. The line was out the door, and girl, I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And plus I had told them, because I'm allergic to onions. So I was like, don't put the onions on there. Yeah. Yeah, girl.
Onions all day, every day. That's so crazy.
I'm allergic to them. Well, it just depends on how they're cooked, whether I itch or not. And I didn't tell people, but I'm allergic to chocolate too, and I still eat that. So it's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna deal with it, right? I'm gonna eat my way out of it. But however, yeah, I have never been to New York just to go on a trip, and I definitely have to come because I heard it's really beautiful and there's things there. But you know what I want to get into? Why did you name, for the audience, our listening audience? I know the podcast is called Behind the Board, right? So for our listening audience, can you tell why you named it Behind the Board? So our listening audience will know.
I just did an interview with Brooklyn Paper, and the girl asked me that as well. And I was like, I didn't come up with that name.
Okay.
He actually came up with that name, and I think he just he just ran names by me. And I mean, that's essentially exactly what it is. It's behind the actual perspective behind the board. It's like, I really wanted to know, I'm that girl, when I was little, probably when I was little, we used to eat White Castle.
Yep.
I was that girl that was opening the CD and looking to read the credits, because I wanted to know who wrote the song, who produced this track, you know what I'm saying? That was important to me. I don't really know why, also, like in movies, when I watch certain films, I would want to know who did certain grips for different cameras and stuff like that. That was interesting to me. I also wanted to know the songs that played in the background. So I would just look to see what it was. That was always just a thing that I did. So that kind of morphed into me kind of wanting to know. We did an interview with Dame Grease, who, when I was little, that is Dark and Hell is Hot DMX album. It was like, oh my God, just like such a huge thing for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And so to actually sit with the person who produced the majority of that album was really important to me, because at the time, there had been like an urban legend going around New York about this infamous battle that DMX had while his jaw was braced.
Okay.
And I was like, did this really happen? Did he really battle 20 dudes with his jaw wired shut? Did this really happen?
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying?
I
always saw people talking about it, but I didn't really have real proof. And he was able to break that story down during the interview. And he also was actually shocked that I was so like enamored with the whole lore of like making this album. But I mean, it's such a classic album if you're a pop lover, you know what I mean? And that was such a great moment for me to talk to him, because I could ask all the questions I wanted to ask about that album.
Yeah. And tell me, who, I know you do a lot of interviews, so what was the most interesting interview that you've had since you've been doing this, and who was it with?
So we originally started with lesser known artists.
Okay.
People that were around the city that were working on projects, and then we got to like bigger artists. There was a specific artist that I grew up loving, a female rapper. Was it Lil' Kim? So this person that I was speaking with, who was a producer,
okay,
who was present during the making of an album that I liked.
Right.
Just ripped off the Band-Aid and said she didn't write those songs. She didn't write those songs. And I mean, now it doesn't matter. In today's world, it does not matter.
Yeah, because you have AI now. So I mean,
every female rapper that's coming out now, it's acceptable and understood that they may have a male writing for them. And okay, because they're just here to get a bag.
Right.
But at that time, it was like, everything is written by me. I write my own, that's what everybody was. So to know that it wasn't true, it was heartbreaking, to be honest with you. It was heartbreaking, because I really believe this person was writing their lyrics.
I can't even say. I'll keep going. I'll be like, is it Nicki Minaj?
No, it's not her. It's not her.
I'm not a real big Nicki Minaj fan, but it's okay. I got my reasons. And so I'm going to take one commercial break. I'm going to come back because I got more questions for you, because I really want to get into the meat of the subject. So we're going to come back real quick, and we are with V White, and she's doing a marvelous job here behind the board, across the board, on top of the board, but behind the board is here V White. Come back with us, please.
You know I've been waiting all day for you. I need you all in my face. I need you all in my face, yeah. And I need you touching all over my body. Yeah, I want you, 'cause I know I don't see no other options. All I see is you, and I don't want nobody else. 'Cause you got the right idea. Touch on me once, touch on me twice, I dare you. And I ain't gonna lie, your game is so vicious. Got me locked in at only 3 minutes. Give me good feelings and no hold on to. Almost too good to be true. Look no further, yeah, I'm the one for you. Come me closer, yeah, let me talk to you. Don't you act like you don't need this. You came here to receive this. 'Cause when I look in your eyes, there's way more to you, and I don't want nobody else. 'Cause you got the right idea. Touch on me once, touch on me twice, I dare you. You got me that look and told me to come here. Now it's getting hot, hotter than a sunless. Asking all these questions like who I came with. When I look into your eyes, we on that same shit. We be on that dance floor, give me tight grip. I can have you working the whole night shift, yeah. Give a little advice, be more than a woman. I ain't gonna leave in the morning, look. I can be your root Yeah, anything you need, baby, turn the lights on so you can see. You're fucking with a real one. Things you've been through, I done been through. Used to be a player till I benched you. Hold up, acting no shy. Don't be scared to get this number. You gon' be my new team for the summer. Give a Leah vibes, be more than a woman. I ain't gonna leave in the morning. Acting no shy, don't be scared to get this number. You gon' be my new team for the summer. Give a Leah vibes, be more than a woman. Cause I know I don't see no other options. All I see is you, and I don't want nobody else. Other options, all I see is you, and I don't want nobody else. Cause you got the right, idea. Touch on me once, touch on me twice. Don't be no other options. All I want is you. If I give all my time, you ain't gotta try. I get it. Got something on the side, you ain't gotta lie. I'm about to roll up, tell me what's the hold up. So get it. Let's talk about this now, I'll make it real loud. Unneeded problems, trust has fallen. Got folks calling my phone now. What you gon' do? Need me to do roll through and solve this problem. Unneeded problems, trust has fallen. Got folks calling my phone now. What you gon' do? Need me to do roll through and solve this problem. You real tight-lipped, saying nothing. I might jump ship. See you drowning into nowhere, and you best believe you wanna play the victim. You gotta play the victim. Unneeded problems, trust has fallen. Got folks calling my phone now. What you gon' do? Need me to do roll through and solve this problem. Unneeded problems, trust has fallen. Got folks calling my phone now. What you gon' do? Need me to do roll through and solve this problem.
What it is, I know you run your sister, so I'ma just keep it crisp. Ooh-wee, believe me, I love what you got, but I'm young and I'm dumb, running straight to the top. Leave it, color-coded, with it. Love whenever you be showing emotion, yeah, that mean I got you. To be honest, ain't a lot of chicks that really top you, and you know I'm with it, nothing to lose. You got the juice, I be around some groupies, but I'm not into those. Yeah, I want you in the picture, but you changing your pose, banging me up, calling my phone, saying you know what I'm doing. You know you hard, you ain't moving, so tell them cats in them DMs, if I see him, my baby gon' be making a post that say free him, cause your love worth 100 miles of running facts. Let me call this girl back.
Close your eyes. Imagine a room that doesn't just look beautiful, it feels alive. The lighting is perfect, the energy is electric, and the scent of gourmet creation is in the air. Now look around. You aren't just checking the kitchen or hovering over the guest list. You're in the moment. You're the life of the party. Welcome to the world of irresistible events and catering. In a city built on spectacle, we specialize in spectacular. At Irresistible Events and Catering, we just don't fill plates, we curate memories, because our philosophy is simple, elegant, and absolute. We plan, cater, and style any event. Why settle for ordinary when you can have the irresistible? Elevate your event at irresistibleeventslv.com. Hey, this is Her Flow from Hot 702.5 FM, where we bring you the best in hip hop, R&B, pop, and talk. Tune in. Hey, we are back right here on the flow with Her Flow at Hot 702.5 FM, and we have co-executive producer of Behind the Board, V. White. Thank you for coming back. Listen, you guys, I'm here every single Thursday at 4 p.m., and you guys got to tell people. You got to tell people and you got to tune in. That's what I want you to do. That's the assignment, okay? All right, V. White, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay. So you know what I want to get into? Okay, so you're Behind the Board podcast. What makes it different than any other podcast? I know because there's a lot of podcasts out there, right? And what you do interview a lot of producers and engineers. What makes your podcast different than any other podcast?
Well, yeah, as I was mentioning, the podcast is not to sit and talk about the artist or the producer's personal life. I don't care how many kids you have or, all that stuff, what your beef is with your producer or anything like that. I'm trying to find out, how do you guys divide the splits? And what is the percentage that you're getting when you are making these records? What's actually happening in the studio sessions? Are you really in there with the lights off and just smoking weed with the girls in the studio?
Right.
Or candles on and you guys are really vibing out? Because there are different methodologies.
Right. It's okay.
When they are actually in the studio. Some of these stories, when I'm hearing them, and it's not the person you would expect doing these things. Mm-hmm. You know, and some people really go in there, all lights off, just the candles, and they might even have like the sound bowls. And I'm talking about like a dude from Queens. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, really? That's how you want to record? And it works for certain people. Mm-hmm. I don't know that the listeners care. I'm interested in hearing. You know what I'm saying? And there has to be somebody out there like me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So there's always an audience for you. Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, if you do want to hear generic answers about when is the album releasing, where did you shoot the video, whatever the case is, you can always watch a bigger platform for things like that if you want to talk about why somebody had a mugshot or something like that. But I'm interested in knowing the mechanics behind the industry. And just providing value for the listener that may be interested in getting into the industry or may just want to submit their work for other people to purchase. Maybe they don't want to be an active, working person in the industry, but they want to be a songwriter or they want to be somebody that can get paid for their things, or they want to get into licensing. As I mentioned earlier, some people are really just interested in licensing because they don't want all the business and BS that comes with being in the industry.
Right.
Every day, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was through talking to different artists that you realize the game that they have to play. When we were speaking to Wyclef, when I was speaking to Wyclef, he also was very candid about how available drugs are. Of course, I grew up seeing stories about drugs and all that kind of stuff. But now that I'm older and I can see like an artist of today's time, one of those quick TikTok artists, and I can they can get into drug usage, which is really just pills nowadays. It kind of helps me to understand cocaine back then. Right. Because to me, if I see people doing cocaine at a party, I don't want to do that. What the fuck? I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And there's nothing that interests me in doing something like that. But in his explanation, it is so readily available. It's almost like water. How you would go somewhere and they have bottles of water everywhere. Hey, you're thirsty, here's some water, here's some water. But it's cocaine and it's everywhere.
Right.
And if you're just with your friend and I don't, maybe you're not easily influenced, but you trust your friend. And you want to take a chance and have a good time. Maybe you get into it. And right now that's pills. So somebody might say, here's a perk. You know what I'm saying? And you might try it. And I mean, I think it's because we come from a different time that we're not interested in that. But when I see the kids doing it so easily, I'm just like, what's the allure? You know what I mean? And it's that it's there. It's right there. Another thing is that the music is actually hypnotizing to the kids when they're in the club. I mean, it was hypnotizing to us too. You're in the club and you hear a song you love and you start dancing and you're getting into the vibe.
Yeah, you're into it.
So it's just, I just wanted to hear more from people from a firsthand standpoint. And it doesn't have to be from the artist's perspective. It could be from a songwriter who is explaining to me, I don't make shit from doing this. I just love doing it. You know what I mean?
It's her passion.
Right. Or we had an artist on there who was making so much money just from submitting their lyrics. They weren't even there in the studio to actually put the song together. They just submit their lyrics. They're on as a songwriter and they're making buku bucks off of that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has a different path. All of them are interesting to me because music is such a huge part of life. Even if you're not into like today's music, there's some music from the past. I know right now, the whole Sinners
I'm
thing.
an old school head, so you're
right. With the whole Sinners thing. Ryan Coogler keeps going in on that blues aspect and how a huge part of his life, that aspect of music. I'm not into that type of music, but the movie did interest me into hearing some other songs, just having a little interest in some of those songs. So, music touches everyone. And
it has no barriers, no boundaries, for sure.
If you're like a nerd like me, who can get into a debate about the quality of Whitney Houston's music, which we all know is superb, but we also know she wasn't writing those songs. So you can compare her to Mariah Carey and say, well, Mariah Carey was writing all her music. Now we can have a real debate. Who is the better artist?
You're not going to sit up here and talk about Whitney now.
I'm not going to talk about anybody.
We're not going to Whitney. No,
it's a healthy debate to have. Though.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. So let me ask you this, because I know, like I said, you do a lot of interviews, and you interview not only just rappers, but you interview R&B artists and producers and things like that. Have you ever on your show? Because I know we talked about the whole drug thing. Have somebody like want to smoke weed on your show while you're interviewing, or take a drink on your show? Have you ever had that happen? Because I know, being in the rap game and seeing producers, and has that ever happened with you? Because I know
not during the show, but when we would go to the rooftop, we would have drinks, and the artist may want to smoke or the producer may want to smoke. And that's, it's just a pastime. It wasn't like heavy drugs or anything like that, but not during the interview. No, not during.
Yeah, and then being from New York, that's a thing. Is that like a thing? Yeah, no, what I'm saying because you are the one that's up front. You are the one. I know it's probably a thing everywhere, but again, you are the front runner in what you do. So that's why I was asking you the question, because a lot of people won't get an opportunity, or won't get an opportunity, don't do the things that you do and deal with the people that you deal with. So that's just a question that I'm asking, because again, like I said, you're upfront and personal with a lot of these people that deal with artists. You know what I'm saying?
I think in my experience, I think maybe coming down to the studio may have been intimidating. And I think maybe how I'm conducting the interview may be a little intimidating. So they may, perk up a little bit and not want to do or say certain things. You know what I'm saying? As the conversation goes on, they see, oh, she's a cool chick. Like if I want to, I could do this. So maybe that is why it would only occur after the interview.
Yeah. For you, what is the most difficult part of interviewing to you when you have a guest on? What would you say is the most challenging for you?
My nerves.
Okay.
My nerves going into it, for sure.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. I guess I may have a little anxiety about these types of things, even though I'm like so easy to talk to. I love talking. I have no issue with it. But it's like, what you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know,
Right.
Just hope that it goes well. Everything is going to work out. So it's like, don't stress about it. Take a shot and just go do it.
I know that's right. Where's my shot at, by the way?
That's just how you got to deal with it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So coming from New York, and like you said, you were a little girl, and was this your dream here to be doing what you're doing right now? And like, what is your ultimate goal with Behind the Board podcasting? What would be your ultimate goal?
This was not my dream, but something was my dream. I just didn't know what. You know what I mean? Working somewhere was not my dream. Can I work somewhere and do the job really well? Yeah, of course, but I wasn't a person that was like, oh yeah, when I grow up, I want to work here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know a lot of people have that, and that's people like me. We want things like that because at least we have some direction. I knew I wanted to do something. I knew I was going to be somebody, but I just didn't know what it was going to be. And originally, it started off as, if I know somebody that's telling me when we're younger, I want to be a doctor, I would watch gymnastics and say, I want to do gymnastics. But then I would see figure skating and say, I want to do figure skating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So performing arts and media, something in that. My thing was always writing and dancing. I think because times have changed and so many new opportunities have become available, and because this is such a huge part of how I am as a person, it just naturally fell into place for me to do something like this.
Right.
It doesn't feel like work at all. It feels just like a regular day to me, but it's also very fulfilling, and it gives back to me and then also to the listeners. You know what I'm saying? We only have one season out right now. We have already taped 3. So we are pacing ourselves on how we release these things because now we're putting them on larger platforms. And we just want to position it in a way where you're not just listening to rappers talk about projects. You want to hear different perspectives on different things about the industry if you are interested in getting into it. You know what I mean? And now, I mean, we're moving into a whole different sector, like I said, with the executive side of the podcast itself. So it's going to go into other areas of the industry if people are interested in it. But for me, myself, I'm also going to be doing projects on the side specific to myself. And my work, I feel, has been around helping, healing, and uplifting women. I've been seeing so many, as time has gone on, and I think also after becoming a mother, realizing how internally defeated women are, not necessarily because of men. It's also because of complexes that they have personally that they're not aware of. And I'm able to recognize it, obviously, because at some point I was able to recognize it in myself. I came to that bridge and crossed it and all that kind of stuff. But when I have a community of women around me and I'm able to see the things that they can't see because they haven't done the work yet, obviously people can't do the work until they're ready. But I realize that all these things that they're going through, if they love themselves enough, they would not experience any of it. But they don't know that they don't love themselves. And that's a really huge issue for women in general, for people, but for women in general and mainly for Black women. I did do a workshop where we had a part of the workshop was an activity where we were on a lifeboat, and you had to choose who to save from the lifeboat.
My God. Wait 1 second. Don't go there. Did you go to Choice Centers?
No.
Okay, because I did the same thing.
So in my experience, I immediately voted for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Of course.
And so one of the instructors came behind me and he was like, you voted for yourself. Great for you. All these really, and I'm just listening to him, whatever. And he said, but you know what? You have a job to do and you're not doing it. And I was like, wait, what? What's going on? He was like, you have a voice and you are supposed to be helping people. Do you know how many women in here did not vote for themselves? I didn't even know anybody think to not vote for themselves. Why would you not vote for you?
But that's so crazy. Yeah, but you know what? You get so used to, see, this is what I brought this to the table. I always say this on my show because
my perspective of it is that we become, and I say this all the time, we become patchwork quilts of what we know and what, because I'm a Gen Xer, right? So we become a patchwork quilts of everything around us. Like we, at a young age, I think a lot of women become people pleasers because we're trying to please our parents, our partners, and everybody around us, right? And I think sometimes we don't know how to separate as we start getting older, those things. And a lot of women still are doing it for the validation of it and never learning really how to love themselves. And what you said with the challenge of choosing yourself on that ship. I did that simulation, which was so crazy that you mentioned that,
Right.
because when I
Meant
did
to
the
be, meant to
simulation,
be.
it was meant to be, girl, because when I did that simulation, it was so crazy because they had like children, and then they had like people that had disabilities. This was the simulation. I don't want to go into it because but however, I sit there in the middle, and I was just like, I'm looking this side. But I believe for me at that point, I chose myself too.
Mhm.
And
Good
for
for
a
you.
minute there, I felt a little like, I was like, but then I was like, no, I have to choose me, because if
Yeah.
I don't choose me, I can literally can't save anybody else. But however, I really am really happy that you are choosing that journey to do that, because there are so many women that need that. That's my same journey too. Just connecting people in general, not just with women, but however, I think there's a big need to help women cross those barriers of self-love and validation for themselves. And so I'm really, really excited that you're doing that. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, because I did see that for you, that was going to be part of your journey and part of your podcast. So I'm definitely going to be watching it. I hope that when you do it, I hope that you come back and really share what you're doing, because I think the community needs to know. And I'm really proud of you for doing it. I would like to say
Thank you.
for that. Yeah, definitely want to say I'm a girl's girl.
I mean, you know
So
what?
I definitely feel that.
I grew up looking at Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, Jasmine Guy,
Mhm.
Jada Pinkett, these types of women, Brandy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these were like women that were smart,
Mm,
talented, confident. They had a community, people that supported them, strong family unit, and they were able to
mhm.
build themselves.
Right.
And it is hard to rebuild yourself, but if you have a North Star, whatever your spirituality is, and I know a lot of people say they have that, but they don't really have it, because if you do
Mhm.
have spirituality, it's a knowing of your own self.
That's right.
And so
Right. Awareness too. Awareness
reading
of
the Bible,
yourself.
reading the Bible, going to
Yeah.
church, not really
Yeah.
doing anything if you really don't have that inner consciousness.
Right.
And that's what I'm realizing that people don't have,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I think I was going through life thinking everyone had that same awareness that
Yes.
I had, and it has to be within. It's not something that somebody can give you. My parents, they didn't really give it to me. It's just that they had tools around me that I was able to use my own awareness to be like, yeah, I'm interested in learning. Well, I'm an inquisitive person anyway, so I was just
Mhm,
like, what is
mhm.
this? I want to learn more about it. But I was able to pull a lot of my friends out of situations, and at the same time, I had to distance myself from those
I
friends
know that's right. I've been there.
because of
I
what they
know.
were dealing with at the age
Mhm,
that they were. It was they
mhm,
were too mature to be dealing with those issues.
mhm,
Now you have
mhm,
childhood stuff that's going on, and you're not dealing with it. You keep going to work. You keep dating.
mhm,
You
mhm,
say,
mhm.
how can you get married? How can you have
That's it.
you can't have
Yeah,
children?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
right. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's an issue that I'm seeing too much in women that are in their 60s, women that
Mhm,
are my age, younger girls. And
mhm,
even though I grew up seeing those types of women, the girls today don't have women like that to look at. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? So
mhm.
they're already screwed over. And I just want to be, even how we're having this discord right now, there could be somebody that may watch this and may get a little bit of inspiration, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Empower themselves or learn more, or maybe just want to talk like to someone like us and find out more. So having that light within is a gift that I should give. And I think that will be probably not the whole focus of the podcast that I have, but a major part,
a big part of it. Yeah. And again, like I said, I just appreciate the fact that you came on and was so transparent about that, because again, at the end of the day, we need more of that. And so I'm happy that you're actually including that into your podcast. If you can ask your question, I know I want to get deeper in with you, and my show is like only an hour. I wish you could stay longer because we have so much to talk about. And but we are at the end.
I'm sorry, girl. I can talk all day.
Don't be sorry, because I really definitely need you to come back. I promise me you'll come back.
For sure.
Okay, come back. You guys, we just had V White. You guys got to go look and tell us your handles, V, so that they'll know where to reach you.
Gosh, speaking of handles, we are at Behind the Board Pod on Instagram, and Behind the Board Podcast on Apple Music and all of your other streaming platforms. I am revamping my page. I'm sorry, I'm not a social media girl, but I'm getting into it. I like to live a very private life. I love my life, and I want it. So same
here.
So yeah, I'm revamping my page because obviously the next season is going to be launching and being put on platforms. So I do have to have a presence online. So you will be able to find me v.white online.
Yes, and if you're a producer or engineer, please go to Behind the Board so she can do your interview for you, and I can do your interview. Maybe you and I can do it together. You don't never know. But however, I have to go, and it was so great having you on the show, and thank you for showing up, and thank you for being so beautiful. We appreciate you. You are listening to Her Flow with Hot 702.5 FM Risky Radio, and you guys tune back in next week at 4 p.m. I'll see you then. Hey, this is The Flow from Hot 702.5 FM Risky Radio. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. to listen to dope people, dope topics, and dope vibes.